Welcome back to another live chat. I'm just going to wait a few minutes for you all to come through. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the support you show me on this channel. To my 70 subscribers, you all are the real MVPs for real, for real. So today, I'm coming on you live today because I just noticed a pattern in my life that keeps on repeating, and it keeps on repeating with my dad, with my family, and that I did. All right. And clearly, when you see a pattern, you have to address it for it to stop owning you. We're so over that. 2026 is a year of building, is a year of clarity, is a year of intention. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So once you notice a pattern, you have to mention it, you have to acknowledge it, you have to talk about it, you have to self-internalize for you to be able to get it over with, because we are breaking generational curses, we are breaking those generational ties. Okay? This ends with me. This is a part where you say, this ends with me completely. Because you're not carrying our traumas and our troubles to our kids or to our kids' kids. We can't have our children doing the inner work. We do the inner work, we finish it, and we close that chapter. All right. So most of the time, for me, as a child or as a teen, that was back when I used to still stay with my parents, when I used to stay home. After an argument, it always ended up with like being kicked out or being told that you can't fit here because you have voiced your opinion. So I used to probably like go to my aunties or back to my grandma's house. As an adult, this showed up again with the kind of men I used to see. My boyfriends did the same thing after an argument. It would even get worse to the point of they'd take you out during the middle of the night, and that is just pathetic. And recently, family repeated the same behavior again. And did you know what I realized? That is a pattern. That is a pattern. And I'm just so tired of having the same pattern show up in my life so many times. I mean, every time I speak up, it always ends up in removal as punishment or exile as a form of punishment. And till when? Till when, really? So I realized the issue was never about the argument at all. The issue was that I spoke up for myself. And the minute someone doesn't understand uh, what you're trying to say or what you're trying to convey, the message you're trying to convey, it always definitely leads to some sort of misunderstanding. And that's where I'm at right now. They don't hate you, they just hate losing the control of you, and that's fine. Okay. That's the pattern that I'm talking about. Once you realize that this happens, we find a way to move forward with that. And I'm pretty sure not just me, most women on here have probably gone through the same thing or experiencing the same thing. Okay. So for me, that it teaches you that love is conditional and that disagreement is definitely danger, because every time you speak up for yourself, you end up being dissociated. Okay. And most of the time, the silence you experience, or the silence, the fact that they're trying to silence you, it makes you feel safe. You'd rather keep quiet to bring peace, but your body is in pain, your heart is in pain. Okay. So you laugh, you learn how to just laugh it off most of the time, or you leave quietly, or you just dissociate your mind completely and you focus you focus on other things. But the problem, you haven't dealt with the problem as it is. Okay. You're trying to avoid either being too loud, but you're not too loud. That's the thing. You're trying to avoid that argument because if you speak up for yourself, something is going to happen to you. You're going to be told to leave. Like, no one wants to listen to you. All right. And a lot of women aren't nonchalant, they're just dissociated in life. Okay. So, like, you always, at the end of the day, after all is said and done, deep down, you know that God, for one, is always going to come through for you. And it's times like this that you know that you serve a living God. Okay. Because you always find a way and you always end up somewhere safe. All right. And most of the time, instead of begging, you just decide for yourself that it's about time I left. You're not kissing us for anyone in 2026. If there's no proper agreement of sitting down and talking about an issue as it is, you won't insult my integrity. Okay. You always find a way out. So most of the time, people think that I'm strong because I always survive. But surviving doesn't mean that it didn't hurt. It did. Especially when it comes from people that you actually love, it does hurt. That laughter, that attitude of, oh, you know what, it's not a must. I can leave instead of begging. There's a point it gets to and you just sit down and think about what just happened and it gets crazy. You start asking yourself, like, are you the problem? But you're not. You have never been. You don't need any fixing. Don't extend your stay in a place where you're not wanted. All right. And you know what? Here's the funny part, right? Here's the funny part. Uh, right after all this happened, right after today happened, it's funny how my ex just texted me. And at the back of my mind, I'm thinking, is this a sign? Could this be a sign? But no, he doesn't know the pain and know that is not a sign. But your nervous system takes you to a place of familiarity and you end up thinking it's a sign. And then you end up going back to the same thing again. And then it goes back to the whole cycle starting over. But if you're self aware, if you've been on my channel for some time, you know I'm very intentional about, and I'm very loud about being self aware. It's important for you to become self aware so that you can be able to know when your nervous system is talking to you. Your intuition always guides you. Even before your mind thinks leave, you can already feel it. Okay. Thank you guys. Welcome back to my live. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All right. So that wasn't a sign and it wasn't destiny. It was just familiarity. Mm. So as much as old doors rattle when life shakes, that doesn't mean you should open them again. Okay, because they do actually rattle. But that doesn't mean shit. That doesn't mean you go back to the same familiar pattern that you've been trying to avoid. It doesn't mean that you do the things that you've been doing. If you'd already made up your mind to not go back, just don't. It's not necessary. And this is a lesson I want to especially tell women that have been going through or have been experiencing pattern come up again and again. People who agree, they don't want resolutions, they want control. Okay. These people who, after an argument, and they just like let you go, and they're so sure that when you go, you're probably not okay. You're probably not doing this from a place of clarity. That's not someone who wants to make things better with you. This is just someone who's trying to control you. And if you don't fit in that, if you don't, so these are the so these are the kind of, I'm just gonna give you a little bit of lessons or tips from what I have learned. Mm. That people who exile you, they don't want to resolve the issue, they just want to control you. Anyone who threatens to remove you, or anyone who threatens to remove love or safety or shelter during a conflict is not a safe person, and that is not your safe space. As much as there's a relationship of some sort, mm-mm. And over explaining yourself, you would tend to explain yourself, and mostly you would tend to over explain yourself. Over explaining is just some sort of trauma response. So your best key, your best weapon here is silence, because it gives you self dignity, and self dignity is so much power. So you don't need to be understood to be done. If you're done, you're done. All right? You don't need to be understood to be done. So as I come to the end of this was just a short ranting live, because I have to get it out of me to be able to move. I am not disappearing. I am just repositioning myself in a space where I am safe, in a space where I feel more grounded. All right. And for women, especially, if you're always depending on people, if you're always depending on a loved one, if you're always depending on a relationship, if you're always depending on your friends, it's high time to just pick up your shit, pick up yourself, and depend on God and yourself. You have to go out there, organize your resources, and do what you have to do. As a woman, first, you should always have your own space. Your own space. Because someone who has their own space is not about to be disrespected. Someone who has their own space is not about to be disrespected. I'm going to say that again. Because you have your own life together, umeshajipanga. Watu wenye wanajipanga ndio wanakuja wanadharauliwa. Sawa. V, what's your password again?
54162029.
So I'm not homeless in life. I'm just I'm just transitioning. And transitioning for most of us tends to be difficult, but don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself. God loves you. All right? Don't give up on your life. Don't give up on yourself. And you have to acknowledge the fact that this pattern that you can see, it ends with you, and not for yourself. It ends with you for yourself and for your future generations. All right. So it's not that you're homeless, or it's not that people don't love you. They do. As much as they want to control you, they do. But you have to know, you have to learn that you have to pick up after yourself. No one is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. All right. And for those of you who are transitioning either from school to work or from work to retirement, I don't know, but you're in some sort of transition. You really have to have self-confidence, because the world is gonna give you so many things that are going to make your confidence drop, but don't let it. It's about time you picked up after yourself, you got everything in order, what you're supposed to do. If you're a creative like me, keep on keeping on. It doesn't end there. There's so much life ahead of us. There's so much life ahead. All right. So if this resonated with you, please drop a comment. Don't forget to like. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe, because you are building this life one brick at a time. Okay. I guess I'm going to catch you on the next one. I'm out for now. Peace.